The Black Stove, endless side quests. Loading complete.
Hello, and welcome to the bottom bin of questing of epic side quests with Kimmer and Lust. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about Griffey?
Doing pretty good. Just excited for this extra long weekend away from work.
And Lust has a camera at last, which is nice to see. So the three bearded mugs are up here.
Before we go forward, I actually want to make an.
Oh, you're cutting up there.
Oh, son of a bitch!
No, there you go.
All right. Well, hopefully my mic will stop being weird, and I can continue. So, but no, I have a special announcement. This coming up year is going to be a lot of fun. But I wanted to announce that in September or October, we still got to figure out a couple days. Me and Griffin will be going to Canada to visit Hanrold to do an in-person podcast and just have some fun.
Hell yeah.
Don't
This
worry.
is news to me.
Don't worry. I already got it cleared by everything and everyone I need to get it cleared by. So
Including
Griffin,
my wife.
that's what I meant.
Okay.
So we will be trying to plan a weekend to go to Canada and do an in-person podcast with Handrolled.
That's awesome.
So it's going to be a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I'm excited for it.
Kimmer has to schedule it because he's like the worst at scheduling anything. So kind of beholden to his ability to schedule. Put it that way.
Yes.
That's one of my kind of New Year's goals, I guess, is to be better about scheduling things and remembering things. So that's definitely something to I need to work on this year. But no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we're definitely gonna have to talk about that, guys, and definitely plan that out.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I look forward to actually meeting you guys in person. Although I have to say my background is kind of triggering. After the last game, we were just playing some League of Legends, and we actually had somebody playing Karthus who was feeding like a bomb. So
Yes.
a little bit
Agreed.
triggering, but it wasn't pentakill Karthus, so it wasn't real Karthus. That's all I have to say.
True.
All right, so it is the end of the year. I know things have been kind of spotty for us. Life has been kind of kicking us in the crotch. We are planning on trying to have some form of regular scheduled podcasting in the new year. We will see what happens. It's looking like it should be somewhat regular, but we'll see. So what we've decided to do for the end of the year is kind of cliche, doing a little end of the year recap on all things kind of pop culture gamey stuff. Games that's been talked to death. Everyone's talking about Baldur's Gate. Everyone's talking about Tears of the Kingdom, all those kinds of things. And I'm not a console gamer, so I haven't played them. And then Baldur's Gate, I just haven't had time to even invest in with life kicking on around. So I think we should probably do our favorite topic anime. And I'm going to start with you there, Lust. What do you think? Like give us a recap of your sort of favorite animes of the year. Any standouts?
Definitely JJK through our season 2, very good. Doctor Stone season 3. However, I have been warned like Kim, I'm gonna hate the ending, which I've already kind of spoiled myself on the ending. And then also Blue Lock was a big introduced anime to me. For me, that is a massive standout because it's a sports anime. I feel like even if you're not into soccer, even if you're not into sports, it's something anyone could get into because there's more than just the sports that go along with it. And it's also animated very, very well. So,
Unlike the end of season 2 of JJK.
I don't want to get into the animation issues with season 2 of JK in general. It's still a very good story, but the animation was
Free Mappa.
Yeah.
Free Mappa.
And what about you there, Kim?
It was a very solid year. Yeah, Dr. Stone's ending is going to be dog shit. Yeah, I'm outing Dekel, who's defending it with, yeah, fuck off, sir. That ending is dog shit, and I will argue that it is dog shit and possibly the worst ending of anime history. Like, I'm telling you, it is not good. I don't like, and the only reason why like I'm saying it is not good is because there was literally articles and stuff that the author didn't even know how to end the manga. He started writing it and just didn't have ideas anymore. He like just said,
Jeez.
I don't know what to do with the rest of this manga. And then, like, don't get me wrong, finding out whatever, the plot of it, you know what I mean? It's kind of cool. I get it. But you could have done something more with it. So I'm just gonna get
However,
that out of my way.
I will give one little defense on that. They know the fans are unhappy with the ending. There's a small chance that they might change the ending of the anime. Small
I'm
chance.
hoping
True.
so. I'm hoping
I-
so. I'm just, in my opinion, it just they could have went somewhere different with it, and they didn't, and it just didn't. I don't know. I didn't like it.
Well, I
Okay,
mean-
but yeah, favorite anime of the year would be probably Vinland Saga season 2. Sorry, I wanted to get that.
No. On the Dr. Stone front, I would say it's very rare that the anime ends after the manga. Very, very rarely. So normally it's the anime ending sucks because it's caught up to the manga and ends before the manga does. So fingers crossed for you guys. I don't like Dr. Stone. I find the characters annoying, so I never got into it. I watched about 3 episodes and I just and as the one who's kind of been watching anime the longest, I do kind of look for dark horse anime, things that don't conform to the normal formula of things. I would say my standout anime this year was probably Skeleton Knight in Another World.
I'd say that's a pretty good anime.
That anime for an isekai, which is a tired
Really good.
trope, it is like, what the fuck is this? It was so much better than it had any right to be.
Yeah.
And
It is pretty good.
I was impressed. I'm excited for season 2. For 2024 of the stuff coming out this next season, nothing jumps out at me, but I haven't watched a lot of trailers yet. However, spring looks fire as fuck.
You're
And
gonna
that's
say
even-
solo leveling doesn't jump out to you?
I haven't tried it yet, so it's not.
You haven't seen the trailer?
I have not seen. Like I said, I haven't watched any trailers yet. So I just know that the synopsises I was reading, most of them are just like, really? It just seems like a lot of harem and ichi anime this season.
I'm okay with that.
I have no problems with it, but
More nudity anime.
harem and ichi anime has to have a really nice hook for me to actually enjoy it. But for
Big titties isn't a big good enough hook for you.
Not for multiple episodes, sir.
That's where Chain Soldier is going to hook you, because yes, it's like to give a synapse of it. There's another world. There's a Earth and then like another world, and then so that like these people that are fighting against these like demons, whatever. I forget what they're called. I've been reading the manga, and the core group is all girls, but then this one guy gets like sucked into the world and becomes like their slave. But so what happens is the guy becomes the girl's slave, but when they use his power, he has to get pleasure from them. It's like a weird little like how do I describe it? So like they use him. It's like
he's
something
a battery
to do with like, yeah, it's like something to do with like the main girl's power or whatever is like equivalent exchange or whatever. Yeah, you use his power. Okay, now we have to pretty much give you something until the thing walks off, whatever. So pretty much he gets girls to sit on his face every time he fights, and but the fighting scenes are dope. Like the action is sick. It's gonna be, the story is good. Like I promise. Like it's not just because of the girl sitting on his face, and there's definitely not one scene I'm particularly excited for. Definitely not.
Sure.
Definitely not.
Well, I mean, one of the harem animes that was coming out, I just looked at it, I'm like, who the hell wants to watch it? They all look like they're 12 years old. It's like just lolis. And I'm like, no. No, just no.
I feel it.
I don't like lowly anime to begin
Yeah.
with. Jinbei being a good
Yeah,
puppy.
he decided to make a visit in the last podcast of 2023.
Yep. So, with the year in retrospect, is there any other animes that stood out to you that were not like the mainstream animes? Because we all have friends who go on and on about the best animes, and they're the most popular, the most accessible animes. Whether they're good or not doesn't matter. Like they're the ones that are always talked about: the Jujutsu Kaisen, the One Piece, the Vinland Saga, like all the mainstream ones that has like huge followings. So like Skeleton Knight, what are some animes that flew under the radar that are better than you had any reason to suspect when you first got into them?
Mine is Aoshi. I think that might have came out actually the ending of last year. Actually, I might be tripping. Hold on,
What
that
about
might
you
have
last?
actually came out last year.
I don't really have an anime that flew under the radar for me. Sadly, like my time is so consumed that I'm lucky to watch like 2 episodes of anime a week, let alone,
Yeah,
I need to find more time to actually research and look into animes because I don't want to be seen as the person who only watches mainstream because that's how I discovered some of the animes I liked was on my own volition, not because people told me to watch it. And I
right.
know like Code Geass is a very popular anime, but I discovered that myself because I was just getting into it, not because other people had told me. Eureka 7, I was recommended, but it wasn't like a highly talked about when I watched it. So it's really unfortunate that I've kind of stuck to the more popularized animes.
Not at
But
all.
yeah, when you're consumed by time and have a wife who does not like anime, it can make it difficult to find the time to discover new animes.
Well, I
So,
mean, family life and balanced life is very uh very key. Like in my case, I met my wife because of anime. And
yes,
she's watched more than probably Kimmer and I combined. Like
jeez.
in fact, she got me into a lot of animes because when I first started going to see her, in Latin America, they were dubbing way more anime. Like they just had way more anime
Oh,
on
wow.
TV. And I'd be like, "What's this? What's this? What's this?" And then I would have to go look it up online and see if I could even find the episodes. This is the end of the '90s, early 2000s, right? So
Yeah.
um, that's how I got into Kenshin before it was Samurai X, before it was even dubbed in North America. Whole bunch of that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of old school anime that I can always recommend. But for the mainstream things, like I hate the gatekeepers. Like I might say, "Oh, I don't like One Piece." It literally is just the character designs, right?
Sure.
As much as I just tease Kimmer about it, just because it's fun. Um, but I would never shit on somebody for watching mainstream anime if they watch it, because like if you think about it, mainstream anime is popular because people like it. There's
Yeah.
something that makes it easily digestible. Not everybody's going to go and watch, the horror animes like Monster, for example. That's a
Hmm.
very, very different kind of tone. Whereas if it's easily consumable, which is the Shonen and Shonen Jump animes for the most part, it's always very readily available, and there's a lot of people to talk about. There's an established community. The problem I have is, oh, you like this over this, you fucking suck, which is why I love arguing with people about the
Yeah.
big three. The big three argument is my favorite argument to get into because it's a stupid argument. It literally just depends on what era of anime you grew up on as to what are the big three. Because I would argue, just as a blanket thing, I'm not going to get into it. We're not going to have this showdown right now, but I would argue that Pokemon had more impact on Western culture than One Piece did.
I mean,
I,
I can
Like,
agree.
I gotta agree with that. But
but
since we're talking about One Piece, just a quick little thing. I don't mean to cut you off. They're
oh sure,
actually they. I might have accidentally. I think that was me on this spot. I was doing something over here. No, they're remaking One Piece. So it's actually this sounds crazy, but hold on. This is I think this is perfect. It's at the perfect time since One Piece is 25 years old. Uh, the Wit Studios and Netflix is remaking the first arc of One Piece. It's going to have 2024 graphics. Uh, from 25 years ago. So it's people are going to be able to actually watch the older episodes with newer generation graphics, which I think is awesome. But it's also going to be shorter because Wit Studios likes to do 2 to 3 chapters per episode, where One Piece usually likes to do 1 chapter per episode. So we're going to get a 75 episode season to 24 to 25 episodes. So it's going to get a lot of people more interested to watch One Piece and start catching up to One Piece. And I think they're only going to do the first like 3 or 4 arcs to remake it.
It's the first 10 years.
And
So
little did Kim know they're actually going to redraw Luffy to look like Goku.
oh, is that? Oh,
So good character design. Got it.
I'm kidding.
Wow.
This is the first I've even heard of the remake for One Piece. So.
Well, the remake, I heard about it, but I thought it was kind of like an abridged series, not like comedy abridged, but like just abridging everything. But no, what they're doing is they're taking out the years of filler, because back in the day, as Kimmer said, it was 1 chapter, 1 episode. And then they still caught up to the manga too quickly, and they had to do filler. So the first, 7, 8 years, Kimmer, is like 40% filler, just because of how quickly they were doing episodes. Is it the first like
yes and no.
7-ish seasons? I forget. I was reading a big thing on it. But you also look at the live actions that are coming out. The One Piece live action was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Yep. Yu Yu Hakusho, which I'm not going to give spoilers because Kim hasn't watched it yet, was beautifully choreographed, beautifully shot, horrifically told, and horrifically paced. For 5 episodes, the fact that they did almost 40 episodes of anime or 16 volumes of manga and destroyed the best storyline in the entire series makes me so unbelievably mad. I was leery going into it, and then I saw the trailers and I'm like, okay, it looks like it might hold up. And casting was good, directing was good, filmography was good, the story was shit. And it was so badly paced. It was fucking brutal. So if you like it, give it a watch. It is only 5 episodes. But if you hold it to the same caliber as like One Piece or the live action Kenshin movies, you are going to be sorely disappointed. And if you're a Yu Yu Hakusho fan, don't go in with any expectations. Don't. Just go in and say, oh, this is Yusuke. Okay. And leave it at that. Although I have to say, the actress who plays Genkai, fucking perfect. Just perfect.
I've never actually watched Yu Yu Hakusho, so
I know that's why I'm not giving any spoilers. But the original anime, the best arc was what it looked like they were going to focus on. Didn't even come close to it. It is dog shit storytelling. I was so disappointed.
Well, hopefully, I'm about to go to Chicago, so I'll watch it on the plane ride.
My question to you guys is, what do you think about all these video game and anime live adaptations coming up?
I'm excited if they're done right, and a lot of the times the public can bully studios into doing the shit right, as we've seen with the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. We bullied the fuck out of them and said, you need to remake this shit or we're not watching it. They remade it, and
Yep, cost them $25 million to fix it, and people actually went and saw the movie once it was fixed.
Dude, and I'm telling you, if that original version would have came out, I wouldn't have watched it. Nope. I don't think anyone would have.
No. It looked so fucking bad, like, originally. And they definitely would have bombed so bad there wouldn't be a second one, and now a third one on the way. So it's really good that they made those changes. But yeah, I agree. Like, if you're gonna make a live adaptation, you need to make it quality. You can't just
Yeah.
cash grab that shit because people will. I mean, look at Dragon Ball Z, a bridge or not a bridge, Jesus, live action. Like how bad it was. That could have easily had sequels made, but it was just so fucking bad that everyone's like, please never attempt this again. I personally hope they do, and they try to make it good, and they use a Japanese cast because it seems like when they go that direction, it comes out much better than when they're just like, let's just put white people in because why not?
Well,
Not saying that. Oh, go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say that, like, you look at some of these adaptations and you wonder how they're done. So I'll just fire off a list. Like Dragon Ball is considered the worst. I would actually argue that Death Note is worse than Dragon
Oh,
Ball
Death Note is way worse.
for the sole fact that it's just because there's more terrible Death Note than there is Dragon Ball. There's just more of it.
Yeah.
But if you look at things done right, so Attack on Titan was done awfully. Full Metal Alchemist movies, there's 2 of them, and they're both brutal. They're terrible.
Yep.
Battle Angel Alita was fucking fantastic. That was an amazing adaptation. That was done by Robert Rodriguez, and he really he made the movie as good as you could probably get for a 2-hour movie. Ghost in the Shell is terrible only because everyone's like, oh, Makoto's being whitewashed as a white woman. And in the movie, they explain why she's Scarlett Johansson, and then they get rid of that excuse
Sure.
in the movie and ruin it. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? The Bleach adaptation is mediocre at best.
Yeah.
The Kenshin movies are probably the best live adaptation of an anime I have ever seen.
The Kenshin movie is fire. I haven't watched the other 2, but the first one was
There's
fire.
4. There's 4.
Oh, there's 4. Oh wow, man! I only watched the. It was fire. As fuck.
There's Origins, which is the newest one, which is actually the story before the movies, but the trilogy, the original trilogy, is the Shishio saga.
Yeah, the first one's
And
fire as fuck.
oh, they're so amazing. The guy they got right, they did rid of the sort of let's call out my moves, and make it all sort of little high fantasy. And they found a guy who has the agility to be doing stunts and shit like that, as well as pulling off the character. Like, they're so good.
If I'm not mistaken, the guy who played what's his face's brother or something like that, played Zoro and from the Kenshin live action.
Yep.
I forget what his name is though.
Yeah, no, he there's a lot of that kind of crossover, but I mean, there's a lot of really good things coming out. Like on FX next month, Shogun is coming out. Now I've read Shogun. I watched the original 80s TV series. Fantastic books. But this remake looks freaking epic and mint. It's an adaptation of a book. It's not an anime, it's not a manga, but it looks so damn good. And then you look at some of these other adaptations and you're just like, what the shit is going on? So I mean, I hate that they're doing because there's what the hell is it? Is it like Lizzie Frankenstein or something that's coming out? It's like a very loose take on the Frankenstein story. So she, according to the trailer, she creates an undead body that's her boyfriend. And I'm like, really? It's so weird.
I am excited for the Shogun show. I will say I've never seen anything about it. I Shogun show though. This is the first time I've ever seen anything about it. So I'll definitely be watching that.
It is a wonderful period piece, and it is going to be fucking epic. I can never remember his name, but the guy who plays the Shogun. Oh my god, Tokugawa. The hell's the actor's name? I don't know. He's in everything. I've been following his career since he was in The Last Samurai, which was 22
I was gonna
years
say,
ago.
yeah, he played in the last, or he played in not Last Samurai, but he also played in. Wasn't it? Didn't he play it? Was it in Logan?
He's he plays a lot of characters because he speaks English. He's also a trained fighter and a trained actor. So like he does a lot of things. Um, but I mean, when it comes to adaptations done right, we can see what happens, right?
Yeah.
I was always convinced that when Hellboy 2 came out, as terrible as a movie that is, as much as I love Ron Perlman as Hellboy, that movie was just not that good. The guy who
No.
plays the Elf Prince is the reason why I think that they could bring Just Duerden to life from the Forgotten Realms.
Hmm.
But I also kind of don't want to see it because almost all of my high fantasy books that have been brought to life have been just destroyed. Like they're not even
Sure.
remotely close to the content that they were. Um, but in terms of anime, like I have no problems with Netflix throwing a bunch of money creating an adaptation. I have no problems with the Japanese making stuff. But I
Hmm.
really enjoy having the creators directly involved, even if they're not a producer, but they're just a consultant. And I think One Piece will be the case in point for that, unless you have somebody like Akira Toriyama, where it's like, okay, calm down, buddy. You got great characters here. Let's do a real story. I know you don't know what that
Yeah.
is, but let's do a real story.
My
Um,
only concern when the writers are brought in to be consultants is you look at, um, for instance, the original Percy Jackson films that were made. The writer was a heavy consultant initially. Now, the show, from what I've heard, is doing a lot better, and he was a consultant again, but he was a consultant on those films, and they were both so bad, like horribly done. And
Wonderfully
um,
cast, though.
yeah, wonderfully cast. I love the casting for it, but then everything else was just like so choppy. They skipped over things. It didn't make sense. Um, Even the later Harry Potter movies started to get a little down on the quality and skipping parts. So sometimes I feel like while they bring the writer in for the consultant, it's not always as taken as it should be because people are like, no, 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 your ideas don't matter. This isn't as important. Trust me, we know audiences. And it's like, you don't always know audiences as well as you think. The reason the
No.
writer put that in the story is because they knew the audience would like it. So,
Well, and that's why I like the consultant role. The problem is that studios are going the old school way of trying to sell things still, and people aren't
yeah,
buying it anymore. Um,
no.
so I mean, you look at the 13th Warrior, which is probably the biggest grievance of having a consultant on there. So it's based on the book Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton,
Okay.
and he and the director clashed so much that the director quit. And Michael Crichton ended up kind of directing slash producing it, which is why if you read the book and watch the movie, it's like complete and total dog shit. But for a B movie, it's quite entertaining. But it
Sure.
was never meant to be a B movie. It was supposed to be the next Jurassic Park level kind of movie, and it just wasn't.
So on the topics of movies too, I know I brought up like how Hollywood generally tries to still make movies just for cash grab,
Mhm.
like all the Fast and Furious movies past like number six. Um, I actually want to talk about a surprising but could have been a cash grab, but well done movie that extended the series. And Saw, the most recent Saw movie, was actually so well done. Um,
I
and
agree.
the guy who plays Jigsaw, he's so fucking good, even for being 80 something years old. Like, it's ridiculous his acting chops, and the fact that if you are a Saw fan, which I am, I'm a very big Saw fan. The fact that people like me are lucky enough to still see him act and make, honestly, in my opinion, the best Saw film that's come out. And hopefully, when they make another one, it holds up to that level. It is definitely a refreshing thing to see because a lot of older films are just like, how we just keep making money, but they actually put a lot of time, effort into, again, what could have just been a cash grab. So I am a little excited on where Hollywood and Netflix and other places are going because some people are starting to understand that people aren't just going to pay for anything anymore, especially with the cost of tickets constantly going up at theaters and the people more willing to wait for it to just come on said streaming sites and watch it for $4 instead of $15 a person. So
Yeah. No, I always look at that, and then it's the same as like the Rocky movies, right? The first one was fantastic. It was an Academy Award winning
yeah,
movie. Then they cash grab, cash grab, cash grab. Entertaining to a point, but they made the
yeah,
action entertaining enough. 4 is the best. You get to 5. 5 is terrible, and then nothing.
yeah,
And then Rocky Balboa, which is the 6th entry essentially, is such a wonderfully different movie
yeah,
that it actually makes you like, okay, I like this character, but I might not like the previous movies for what A or B reason.
yeah.
And Kimmer, I'm going to turn to you. What's a franchise, anime, pop culture, whatever, because that's what we're all about, to you that you are enjoying seeing the later entries than the original entries, even though they're kind of cash grabs? Like the whole Fast and Furious franchise is a giant cash grab. I watched the first one and never watched another one afterwards. They're terrible, but that's because Vin Diesel doesn't know how to act.
No.
So,
Anything Star Wars related.
you like the newer Star Wars? Okay.
I like it. I like it. But
Well,
you know what I am gonna like and be excited for is this new Avatar: The Last Airbender show that Netflix is dropping.
Yes.
Oh my god, it looks fucking phenomenal! Oh my
Agree.
god, it looks like they're gonna give us everything we ever wanted.
my favorite part about the new Avatar: The Last Airbender is that they got the original voice actor for the Cabbage Guy to actually play the Cabbage Guy.
That's awesome. That's
and it looks like
awesome.
we're gonna get literally like every bit of what was in the show in like the animated show in the new show, because like they even got like the scientists from the air temple and stuff like that. Like
You don't
they
want
got
Han?
everything. They got Jet. They got everything.
But that's the thing, though, is when you have a cast and crew that actually care about the project because they're fans of it as well, you get really good things. Like look at The Mandalorian, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, while I have not watched it because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, in fact, I'm kind of sick of the Marvel Star Wars thing. There's too much of it for my liking. I understand why The
Wow.
Mandalorian like just blew up because it's a wonderfully done show, right?
So I'll actually cut into that really quick and say the first 2 seasons are really good. I personally haven't watched the third, but everything I've read about it is they kind of fucked up the 3rd season really bad.
No show is perfect.
No.
I mean,
Shit takes. I mean, what?
sorry,
Well,
this is
then,
coming the
should
guy
I
from
watch
One Piece.
Season 3, Kim?
You guys hear that? I don't know. It came
Kim,
from
I'm
somewhere over
asking you
there.
a serious question. Should I give Season 3 an
Yeah.
opportunity? Okay, I will
Yeah.
watch Season 3
The
then.
only complaint about season 3 I heard was the fact that they missed Gina Carano because she got fired for being a bitch.
A piece of shit.
But they're like, oh, she was so good in the show and she fits so well. And I'm like, you guys have so many cool new freaking actors in that show that it really doesn't matter.
And what's his face? Pascal. I can't remember his first name. He
Pedro.
carries Pedro Pascal carries the show anyway. Like
Yep.
you honestly could have taken away what fucking is it, Grogu? Is that his real name, not Baby Yoda?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you could have taken him out of the show and I still would have watched it.
Blah, blah.
Grogu's really an amazing part of the show, but I love Pedro Pascal regardless as the Mandalorian. Like,
Pause.
fucking killed it. What?
Oh, what? Nothing.
Pause what?
No, nothing. No, let's resume.
You don't like Pedro Pascal?
No, I do. I like him. I just don't. I don't love him.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
You love him. You know what I mean.
Oh,
So
okay.
I like him.
This right here is precisely why I try to avoid the Star Wars and the Star Trek fans unless I want to piss them off. I like
Sure.
Star Wars and I like Star Trek. I have watched an obscene amount of both of them. But in recent years, just due to time constraints, I have to pick and choose what I want to watch. And no offense to Disney, but they're after Infinity War, everything afterwards is very hit and miss with me. So I don't trust them to put out good content.
Endgame, hello?
Well, I consider them to be one movie in two parts.
Okay. Fair.
So after Tony Stark dies, everything that Disney puts out after that is hit and miss. Like Loki was really good, Hawkeye was terrible.
WandaVision was amazing.
WandaVision was unique.
No, it was amazing.
Home was amazing.
The way they treated her in Madness, Doctor Strange 2 was fucking brutal. Spend all this time building the character up and then just like no. So they're very hit and miss.
Doctor Strange 2 was a tough pill to
and yet
swallow.
I actually liked the Marvels. And I'm not surprised that it bombed because people are like, oh, women superheroes, you guys are trying so hard.
I gotta go watch that.
It's good. Is
There's
it great?
nothing wrong
No.
with women superheroes.
Is it bad? No. It's just good. It takes a little bit to get it into just because of how the story is linking all three of them together. But the problem is very much like the Infinity War scene where all the women kind of do the carry thing. I'm like, that would have been good if you had just mixed them in with everyone else rather than just have them like just all front and center like that. Not that there's a problem with it. It's just that it like when you shoehorn in things like that, it really feels forced and it distracts from the story you're trying to tell. Right. But the Marvels I actually enjoyed. Would I pay $75 to go with my family again to the movie theater for it? No.
Sure.
But my wife had a free ticket thing and my wife loves going to the movie theater. It's expensive as fuck up here.
It's expensive to go to the movies.
It's expensive anywhere, dude.
It's $60 for tickets, popcorn, and a drink for the two of us. And that doesn't include if we bring the kiddo or not.
See, that's cheaper than here actually, because here, in perspective, it cost $200 for 5 of us to go, and then also drinks and snacks. So that but it's insane.
Joke's on y'all. I sneak my stuff in.
Wow.
Well, I mean, no, I don't. I'm a human being.
Allegedly.
For everything. Yeah, allegedly.
All right, so I'm gonna derail us back on track to the anime thing.
Okay.
What top 3 animes are you guys looking forward to in the new year?
Blue Lock.
Did they announce season 2, or they just announced the episode of Nagi?
I think just Nagi.
Okay, I was gonna say I think it just might be episode of Nagi, which should still be good, but Blue Block. But I'm excited for Chain Soldier, which is the one I was telling you guys about. I'm also excited for Solo Leveling. That one's actually going to be very good new anime to watch.
Sure.
I don't really have. I guess no, My Hero's going to be weak. Not going to be very good. I literally just had winter list or January lineup on my phone. I'm excited for I think season 2 Hell's Paradise comes out next year. I'm very excited for that. I could be mistaken though. Let's see, hold on.
Oh, the Demon Slayer Hashira training arc.
It's not going to be. It'll be mid. It'll be mid.
Like Demon Slayer.
It'll be mid. Okay, so yeah, I like Chain Soldier. Solo leveling, Bleach, finishing some Bleach. Bleach is going to be awesome. We got Blue Lock Nagi coming out April 19th. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited for Bleach. Oh, I will say that. Kingdom season 5. Oh yeah, yes. Please go watch Kingdom if you guys haven't. Or read it. I personally prefer you guys to go read it, but it doesn't have an official English, so you're going to have to find somewhere to read it that's legal but not legal.
Yeah.
Or just watch the anime on Crunchyroll. The first two season, the animation is really tough. It's really really tough CGI with the fighting and stuff. But if you watch it for the story and actually stick it through, second season the animation starts getting really good. And then season 3, 4 is fucking phenomenal animation. And then now season 5 is coming out. Kingdom's amazing. I do recommend to go watch that anime. Please go watch it if you guys just give the first 2 seasons, and then if you're watching it for the story, you'll like it. I also, let's see, here we go. We got Shaman King coming out. We got
Shaman King is actually is a sequel. It's kind of like the Boruto. It's Yo and Anna's son. So it's called Shaman King Flowers or something.
Oh, we got in April Kaiju number 8 coming out. That's going to be very good.
Mushoku Tensei is coming back.
Yes. The time I got reincarnated by a slime, season 3.
Which is going to be fucking fire. I just watched the movie the other day. It's so good.
Tower of God, season 2, finally. God, I'm so excited for this fucking show,
God,
season 2.
Boo. Boo.
No, don't say that. Don't say that right now.
Tower of God is shit.
It's so good. So
it's
good.
Terrible.
But yeah, that's what I'm excited for.
For me, you've listed off a bunch of them. The only one that you missed is Konosuba season 3.
Never watched it, so
okay.
Go ahead.
I would rather you watch Konosuba than even attempt to watch Yu Yu Hakusho.
Really?
Seriously. Konosuba is probably the closest thing to a perfect comedy isekai, and you like ecchi stuff, so it has all of that in there.
Bet.
If you get through both seasons and then you watch the movie, and I know I posted this on our friends the Neighborhood Ninjas podcast channel on Facebook. The movie had me laughing so hard my stomach hurt, which for me is ultra rare. I haven't laughed that hard in fucking forever. But if you get through the first 2 seasons, which are worth watching, like it's a great anime. In fact, most animes now that get more than 1 season tend to be pretty good, or they have a very solid niche following. I'd also argue that Shangri-La Frontier has got really good. The second half that's coming out. I haven't finished Kingdoms of Ruin. I was quite surprised by My Daughter Left the Nest and Came Back as an S-rank adventurer. That was better than it had any right to be. I thought it was going to be an isekai, and it's not, which kind of surprises the shit out of me. What else was I watching? One that actually surprised me for following a formula. Now, I like watching tropey anime where they break the tropes. So I gave I'm in Love with a Villainess a try. And the villainous genre is getting ridiculous. I think the first animated one was I'm the Villainous, all paths lead to doom or something like that. And then all of a sudden there's just like villainous. But this one actually is kind of a Yuri one because the main character is a female who's in love with the villainous. And she's been isekai'd. But for the first time in an anime, they actually, like as characters, talk about being gay. Which is like, I was like,
perfect for
holy
shit. Life.
But the thing is like, the thing is you don't see that stuff in Japanese anime very much, like just mainstream anime. And the way they tackle those conversations was so well thought out that I'm positive the author is not straight. Like I'm positive the way they tackled it was so good. And for a villainous anime, I was like, okay, this is kind of unique. So if you like, romance anime and stuff like that, definitely worth giving it a shout. It's only 13 episodes long. It may or may not get a second season. I don't know how popular it was. But like I said, I like watching stuff that's not mainstream just
Right.
because the mainstream stuff I've been doing for 30, 40 years, right? So
Right.
I like finding weird gems and stuff like that. I have not gotten into Kingdoms of Ruin again. I stopped watching anime for a couple of weeks and haven't caught back up. I'm on episode like 5 or 6, I think. That one still, when I was watching it, still felt like it was on a knife's edge of whether it could be good or turn complete and total shit. So I'm taking that one in one episode at a time. The other Dark Horse one, and I've told Kimber this before, and I even mentioned it during the Anime Rumble, which I still have to edit. Protocol Rain is really good. It's an esports anime, and
There isn't very
really,
many good esport animes out there.
there
So
isn't very many esport animes out there.
true, I guess.
I do like the fact that they actually have like a game engine kind of rendered animation for the game, and it looks like it's a game that's been played for years rather than something new and shiny, so that they can get away with, like sort of Call of Duty 2 rather than like the newer iterations kind of vibe to it. It's actually kind of neat. Some of the characters get a little bit annoying. Is it the perfect anime? No. It's just really good for being an under the radar kind of anime. And where the season ends, if they don't get a second season, oh well. If they do get a second season, oh well. So I kind of recommend checking that out. So year in review. What about movies? Just fire off a movie that you guys saw this year that was really good or better than you expected, or
I still wanted to bring up a couple more anime.
Nope,
fine
you
then.
don't get to. No, you don't get to.
Last you no, he only listed one anime, so go ahead,
Nope,
fire
you
off a
don't,
couple.
nope, he doesn't. No, he lost his chance. He screwed it
Okay,
up.
I
I'm
give
just
up.
kidding.
You and I
Just
got to
kidding.
talk for
Uh,
5 minutes.
So I just looked up a list because I had to, because I wasn't sure when and what. But some ones that I'm personally excited about, and don't, no shame. The Blue Exorcist, Shimani Illuminati Saga,
Season 3.
Season 3.
Season
Um,
3.
Code Geass, Rose of Recapture, because it's been a while since Code Geass has had
New
anything.
movie.
Black Butler Public School Arc, again, hasn't had anything in a while. Really excited to see that coming back.
New season.
And the Prince of Tennis 2 U17 World Cup semi-final. For me, that is massive because I didn't think they were going to continue and actually animate it. I know how it ends and I know everything about it, so it'll be really nice to see it animated. And for me, it's a huge deal because the Prince of Tennis was the first like anime that I got into. Sort of like Naruto, Dragon Ball, and everything like that. And while it is tennis, I just love it. I love how ridiculous it is, and it's also really well animated. And
Mm-hmm.
Have you
I
watched the
love,
original series?
yes, I have.
Okay.
I have watched the original series. I've watched from I've watched every form of Prince of Tennis that has been released. So it is definitely something I really love. Ryoma Atchison is just chef's kiss for me, one of my favorite MCs of all time.
Nuh-uh. You're lying.
Yeah, I'm lying. You're right.
No, to answer Anril though, I didn't really watch very many. Not very many movies I watched, so I don't really have one. You
Okay,
know?
well then, movies or non-animated TV shows.
I would
Really
say
quick. really quick, hold on. When I want to add something else. I bet you guys didn't know Rick and Morty is having an anime made about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I
Anyways, continue.
I stopped watching after season 3. I dropped Rick and Morty.
Well, I love Rick and Morty still. I haven't watched season 7, but I've heard the complaints about it, so we will
Well,
see.
the guy they got to do Rick sounds like no, the guy they got to do Morty sounds like Morty, but the guy they got to do Rick doesn't sound like Rick.
Yeah, that's what I've pretty much the general consensus everyone has said is that it's not. And also, just in general, the season was written pretty poorly.
Yep.
So,
Well, they had to
uh,
delete anything that Justin Roiland put his hands on, so they ended
yeah,
up having to re-script almost every episode.
yeah.
Rick and Morty. Rick.
It's sad because I really loved Rick and Morty, but it's gonna be hard without Justin Roiland as big of a piece of shit as he is. I really wish uh, things could have stayed because I don't want to see the show fail, but unfortunately, sadly that's where I see it ending up.
Well, almost every long-running show declines after season 7 anyway.
Yeah,
Season 7 is either like the last good season or the beginning of the end. I don't know. I got heavily into Reacher. My wife and I started watching it, I don't know, a week or two ago, and that actually is really good because my introduction to Reacher was the Tom Cruise movie, the first one, and I was just like,
sure.
this is lame. I don't like this. And then I saw the TV show, and I'm like, you know what? I really like this. So for me, that's been my kind of show just recently. I'm sure there's others that have watched throughout the year, but that's the one off the top of my head.
I was gonna say
Um,
mine would probably be One Piece if we're gonna go real, like the live action one. Like, I didn't really watch many like shows like. Yeah,
We're
there's
still
so many
watching
things.
SpongeBob.
Yeah, I'm stuck on that.
for me, for live shows, I mean, I'm really into the cooking shows, especially Gordon Ramsay. So, the conclusion of this season of Hell's Kitchen is really interesting, and also season 3 of Next Level Chef, where they made more changes to it. I'm pretty excited for, and I really hope that they come out with a junior Master Chef season soon. They had a Christmas one pretty recently where it was like 4 episodes long, but I want a real one because the Junior Master Chef both intrigues me and makes me feel like shit for not knowing how to cook as good as a 7-year-old. So,
Fair enough.
Well, the sad, horrible truth is when you're a kid and you're fixated on something, you learn faster than everyone else.
oh
Um,
yeah,
there's a kid I saw a thing on, oh, probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. He speaks 9 languages fluently and he's 10.
oh my god,
He's just so fascinated with languages. That's all he does. He goes onto YouTube, he sits on his tablet,
yeah,
just goes through translations, does nothing else. But he speaks 10 languages
wow,
fluently.
I'm with it.
that's insane. Yeah, props to that kid.
I guess Gen V would be a show, but I haven't finished it. So
Yep. Well, I mean, you've been working more than any of us, so
I haven't
trying
watched
to
that.
watch things when you're working and sleeping is kind of hard. So unless you
Yeah,
want
it
to learn by
is.
osmosis,
I
You
shouldn't have
could
to
just
work as much though.
become you could just become the new Doctor Death and kill all your people.
Oh yeah, why didn't I just think about that?
all
God,
right.
Yeah.
look at
So
Lust coming up with great ideas.
last question for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
I want us now. I know, Lest, you haven't been on an anime rumble yet, but I still want to get your ideas for an anime
Okay.
rumble. Okay. I would like 3 different ideas. One, what anime to argue over? You know, kind of like a Star Wars. Do you like it? Do you hate it? That kind of thing. Like just like do a full-fledged episode on just one anime. Number
Sure.
two, number two is what kind of tropes do you love seeing broken in sort of formulaic stuff? So like the shonen tropes, shoujo tropes, all those kinds of things. What kind of things do you look for that you enjoy being broken? And lastly, what are the something that are some of the most annoying things that you find in anime for dub and or sub? I'm trying to get ideas for the next one.
So for anime, I think that we could talk about most definitely, in my opinion, just because of everything controversial, is um, jobless reincarnation. Just because of the author, what he said, stuff like that. What's going on in the current anime, stuff like that. I think that episode that could be something we could talk about.
I would agree, except I kind of agree with him because of what he said after he said what he said.
I didn't hear what he said after,
Oh,
so I'd
well,
have to.
after he clarified, he said, I don't condone this, but it's normal to Rudy in his world. So for him, it's not as big a deal as it would be to us. Because for
Right.
him, that's his world. He can't control it, so he controls his circle. Which I agree with. But if you backtrack to what he said originally, I can see why people are pissed.
Yes.
If he had said the later statement first, I don't think anybody would have fucking cared.
No one would have cared. Everyone would have just said, "Okay," and then moved
Yeah.
on with it.
Yeah.
An anime trope that I think that is good, that I think that most people wouldn't like, is when a main character actually does something like, as a main character should fucking do. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these animes, it's like, and I mean, I don't mean to get into like stuff, but like a lot of the main characters, they freeze up when a girl like does something, whatever, or
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't mean to say I like that's weird, but when a main character actually when there's boobs in his face and he actually grabs it, you know what I mean? Like that's you. That's what a main character does. You know, they don't get scared of it and start blushing, and then they're like, I don't know what to do. There's boobs in my.
Yeah. Or the blood out of the nose.
If the
Like,
character's
come on.
14, maybe. If they're 16 through 20, no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that, but I don't know. That's just me. And then, what was the third question again?
The third question, so you answered trope, you answered anime to argue over, and oh god, I'm drawing a blank now. Griff, what did I say?
Things you do and don't like about dub and sub.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't like it when a character repeats himself over and over again.
Believe
Like,
it.
Yeah, that shit just fucking. I mean, like even Luffy was saying he's gonna be king of pirates. Shit gets annoying.
Yeah, 100%. So wait, what was the first question again? I'm sorry.
What anime could you argue?
Like
Oh,
for or
what
against?
anime could I argue for or against? I don't really have. I don't know. Against, I mean, I'll go Attack on Titan for this because I fucking hate it. I don't know. Like, there's not one thing I dislike about it that like jumps out completely, other than maybe Aaron Yeager. I'm not like everybody else who just like recently kind of started hating him because he becomes a dick. I just can't stand him from the word go because he's just such a fucking wuss. And then on top of that, like he brings almost nothing to the show until he becomes a Titan. And even then, it's not like great. So I don't know. I'll argue against it and say it's a very overrated anime. Animation's great, but it just takes so long for the story to get interesting. And I guess I gave it a very fair shot, like more than I usually do. So, um, things I like in anime, like the narratives I like push forward, are when the MC is just kind of ridiculously overpowered.
Which is now becoming a trope in and of itself.
Yeah. but I like it when they don't even just hide it, or if they do hide it, they hide like
One Punch Man.
Shadow. Yeah, One Punch Man is great. Love that he doesn't hide the fact that how strong he is, but he's naive to the fact that people don't understand how strong he is. I really love that. Shadow Remnants. I mean, he doesn't hide fucking shit in that anime, except for when he takes the alter persona. But I love how he still doesn't hold back who he is, even in that persona. Um, I love when MCs are just fucking arrogant. Like, it just makes me so happy because it used it to be for a very long time that it was a build up, or if it wasn't a build up, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance, they'd be really good, but then they just lose because of whatever. But when these MCs are just like, I'm just really fucking good, like even in Dr. Stone, he knows he's the smartest and always finds a way. Like it's just so cool to me. Now for dub and sub things, I really hate when dubs drastically change everything and make it so different from the sub that the story is almost completely different, or the dialogue is so different that it doesn't translate the same whatsoever or enough to be recognized. Because I've seen plenty of dubbed animes where they just shorten it or they completely change it, and it's just awful in comparison.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really fucking annoying.
And that's even without getting into like the censorship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like for me, when it comes to anime, I can argue anything and everything. Mac, one of our friends over at the Neighborhood Ninjas there, he huge Naruto fan, loves Naruto.
Fuck Mac.
I have an argument for him for arguing for Naruto, why Naruto is the worst main character in all of shonen, or shoujo rather. Or no, shonen, I'm right. Yep. I want to see if he can counter it. There is a counter that I can think of, so I'll figure it out. But I think that'd be kind of a fun conversation. In terms of tropes, I love breaking. I love it when the tropes are broken, because it's a new way of telling the same story, right?
Mhm.
So for me, like a trope breaking anime, like the one I mentioned earlier, I'm in love with the villainess. Well, now it's an actual proper like Yuri anime instead of a villainous anime because of the way that it is, but the villainess herself is not gay. So it creates the situational tropes without it actually following the traditional formula, right? Um, and I really like that. And one trope that I absolutely fucking cannot stand is the power of friendship trope. Oh, my friends believe in me. I need to fuck off. If you didn't give it your all the first time, you're not giving it all
Believe
after
it.
you've been kicked in the balls.
Believe it.
Yep. I'm going to be the Pirate King. Believe it. Um,
Believe it.
but I mean, at least, and while I will say that yes, it's not the most well written anime of all time, at least Dragon Ball wrote in a get out of jail free card for that trope. With the every time Saiyans get their asses kicked, they come back stronger.
Ah!
It's a cheat code and it's stupid, but whatever. And
Goku sounds like Griffin every morning.
What the
Every time he powers up. Ah!
Yeah.
Every time he wakes up.
that sounds
Silver
like
9000.
sounds like the sub version of Goku. No, but I for the dub and sub, I like it when the characters are properly cast. One of the things that made me stop watching dubs when I was younger was when they did Kenshin. I was like, oh, they're dubbing it, whatever. I'll watch it with my brother so that he can do it, because my brother at the time didn't watch subs. But they had like if you know Kenshin, there's a character called Cho the Sword Hunter. Now he's supposed to be like a country samurai, but still a samurai, so he still should be educated, but he's kind of a punk. Um, and in the dub, they gave him like a really terrible Southern Texan accent, and it just fucking garbage. Um, and then when they have the, like, we have 5 voice actors, we're gonna pump out 20 animes with the same 5 voice actors. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, no matter how talented the voice actors are, unless you're paying through the nose for people like Tara Strong, Jennifer Hale, like where they
Mhm.
have like thousands of voices, you're never going to put out a good product because by the time you get to the third or fourth anime, you're like, this is the same fucking character from the last one,
Yeah.
right? And it's really
Um,
stupid.
Kind of to piggyback off of the whole animes when they don't cast well. Haikyuu was like that for me because I watched the sub version first because it took a while for them to dub it, and the dub is so bad. Like it is casted awfully,
Yep.
um,
Well,
and it really is unfortunate.
most of the anime studios, to my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, have a short list of people they can just call and say, hey, we want you to do this. We want you to do this. Because they've worked with them before. It's a question of who you know, right? Um,
Yeah,
and then you get stuff that's dubbed properly. Like I will always watch Dragon Ball English dubbed because the
yeah.
Japanese voices don't suit the characters because they're the original actors from the 80s.
Oh,
Um,
you don't like Goku's voice being
Legendary
all
voice
high pitched
actress,
and
but not
nasally?
not for a man who's supposedly now canonically in his 60s with all the time that he's in
Yeah.
his time training and all that kind of stuff. But
Mhm.
the the thing is it really comes down to what it is. And I actually argue another one that I was just thinking of that is one I've brought up with Kimmer many times, is music in anime, how that has evolved and changed. Kimmer and I were talking about, and I use Full Metal Alchemist as the kind of the main point in this one, is the openings and endings are good in Brotherhood, but they're fantastic in the original series, even if the original series is nowhere near as good as Brotherhood is. So like everyone's like, oh, this opening is so good, and I listened to it. I'm like, I've heard better openings 20 years ago, like because as I explained to Kimmer, like 20 years ago, the music studios and record labels were all owned by like Sony and stuff like that. So they had a list of bands. They say, oh, we're doing an anime. Do you want to put out a single? Do you got a song for us? Boom, boom, boom. Right. Um, the original
True.
Kenshin soundtrack is far better than any of the current Kenshin music. The animation for the current Kenshin is fucking awesome, but the music is dog shit. It is so bad. Like the first opening was a techno song. I'm like, he's a samurai. Why doing techno? Like this makes no sense. So that's one thing that I could go for fucking hours on.
Sure.
Well, I'm gonna end it here. We're getting kind of late. Kimmer probably wants to go to bed. He's been up for like 20 hours. So I'm gonna end it here. We will see you guys in the new year. If you want us to have
Ooh.
our own sort of mini rumble or argument or whatever you wanna do, hit us up in the comments. Other than that, we will see you in the new year on the next one. Cheers.
Peace.
Cheers.